Are you a creative that is afraid to sell your services? If so, you're not alone. And most creatives are stuck in a place to where they are in that in between of being an amateur and a professional. If that's you, listen up because it's just a small mindset shift that you need to make in order to start making money from your creativity. My name is Douglas Bedford, and I am a mindset coach that helps creatives break through any limiting beliefs and get past any self sabotaging behaviors that are stopping them from getting to their actual financial goals. And if that's you, we got to help you get some sales in your actual business or make some money for your creativity. So if you've been avoiding sales, this is the episode for you. So today we have to unravel, why are you avoiding sales? Because here's the thing, as a creative, you create a world to where people want to be in through your art, through your interpretation of the world. And you have to see that that has value. And once you do, then that confidence that you exude becomes contagious. And that contagiousness of your creativity becomes, again, your value. And that value allows you to make money from your creativity. It sounds like I'm talking in circles. And you're right. The reason why I'm doing that is because I want your belief to start to get a little bit loose, because the looser it becomes, you can unravel why you're avoiding selling. And maybe it's just the word selling. Look at the word now as bringing people into your world and seeing the same value that you see in what you create. So that brings me to the first point. I kind of alluded to it already. And let's just address it. Like, what do creatives usually get wrong about sales? Usually, sales for most creatives equals the word manipulation. And if you see it that way, of course, you're not going to be aligned with it. Most creatives, if not all, are very heart centered and they'd rather give their work away for free than being seen as a manipulator. But think about it in a different way. There's a difference between manipulation and influence. Manipulation is doing something for your own good. You're just doing something for yourself. You don't care what the cost is for someone else. When you're influencing someone, you are bringing up what they want. You're bringing up the emotions that they have, and you're allowing them to choose to do something. There have been so many movies that we've seen, or you've probably picked up a phone where someone's just trying to convince you to do something. If you're being convinced to do something against your will, you're going to resist. But if you can show somebody what your vision is and align it with what they want for their future, then they can choose to value your actual services, whatever they are. The thing for you, though, is to influence yourself to see the value in what you do. You have to think back to all the time that you put into creating whatever you created, all the time before that, or it took to actually grow the skill that you have to create the things that you want to create. On top of that, the life that you lived to interpret the world the way that you see it, because what you do is one of a kind, especially as a creative. And if you don't see the value in what you do, then no one will. I would take something for free before I would pay for it. Most people would. But if you can demonstrate the value of what you do, then it's within my heart that I want to invest in something like that. So if you can see it from that lens, now you're on the steps of creating an actual business from your creativity. And when I say business, I mean something that is profitable, that takes care of you, right? Because you have to make money from what you do. There's just no way around that. Which leads to my second point. What is the mindset for selling? So you have to see it as a service. You have to see it as being able to align someone's belief with yours. And that person to then put their resources, whether that be their attention, whether that be their money, whether that be their time, into what you have to give, what you have to demonstrate, what you've made. So that leads to the next point. What is the proper mindset for influencing someone to actually invest in what you've created? From my experience, there's 6 steps. The first step is connecting with someone. A lot of times there's so much insecurity with the word or trying to sell that in order for us not to feel rejected, we'll just start talking and 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 hoping that something sticks. But if you're able to connect with someone, build rapport with them, build a bridge, then you make someone feel like they're heard and you're allowing them to choose you opposed to convincing them to choose you, which is two separate things. So, how do you do that? By just asking questions, by seeing where someone's at to slowly start building that relationship, similar to when you start a conversation with somebody being able to get in the same sort of energy, same sort of vibe, same sort of lane that allows you to connect and see if it's something to move forward towards. And that all happens by having a courage to connect with someone. And from that step of connecting leads to the second part, discovering. Discovering what that person's pain is, discovering what type of future that person wants, seeing if now is the right time for them to actually use the services that you have. Because if that's the case, then you can only find that out if you actually discover that together with the person that you are working with. The third step is then transitioning. Once you discover that someone does need your service and they also discover that they need your service, then it's transitioning into what you can actually do for that person. And that transition is just permission. So just asking someone, would it be okay for me to tell you about exactly what I do? Now it's time for you to tell someone what you actually do. A lot of times people skip connecting and discovering and just go into presenting. And if you go through those first steps of connecting and then discovering, it then becomes natural to then present what you have. After you present whatever services that you have, then it's just that final alignment to then see if now is the right time, if financially it makes sense to work with you. Then after you present, then it's time to see if there's actual alignment with that person. And then third, if there's any external things that are getting in the way of them moving forward with you. If you could then make sure that the alignment is there, change any beliefs that you have, then it's the final stage of them committing to actually working with you. And here's the thing, if you do get a no, that's totally okay because then you've created a relationship with that person. You've already connected with them. You already discovered where they're at in their life. You've then told them about your services. If you built that relationship, there is a point in time to where things come back around and they would eventually work with you or at least tell someone else that may need your services about you because you built a relationship with them and you were patient and you were caring and your services actually provided something that was transformational instead of just transactional. You listened, you heard them, you discovered who they are, and now you're in a position to actually be a trusted person that they want to eventually work with, or they would then use their reputation to tell somebody else to work with you. And that leads to that final step of just following up and keeping that connection. And from there, and that's how you're able to influence someone to, and we can now say it because we've got past it now, sell your services and come from a very spiritual or from the soul and allow someone to know, like, and trust you. And here's a quick thing. It may be hard for you to influence other people if you can't influence yourself first. If you feel like there's still some sort of unresolved tension inside you when it comes to being able to influence others to buy your creative services, then you have to start with yourself because there's 4 levels of influence. There's the first level of being able to influence yourself. The second is to influence someone one-on-one. The third is being able to influence the masses. And the fourth is having a message that is so vibrant and has so much gravity that it vibrates throughout time and it doesn't need you to say it. It's just something that just makes sense and just connects but it has to start with you first. So if you're struggling with being able to influence yourself, to put yourself out there, to sell your services, to make money from your creativity, I created a 1 day influence course that can break through any of those patterns that are holding you back. If that's something that you're interested in, click the description below and it'll walk you through the process of understanding how you can actually start influencing yourself so that you can start making money from your creativity. Or if you just want to connect with me, click in the descriptions below and use any of the social media channels that exist there to connect with me. And I'd love to start a conversation with you and see where you're at with your creativity and where you want to go. So please like, subscribe, share. And this is Douglas from Caring Broke. Until next time.